What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another Prize Picks video for you. Today is Friday, March 17th, 2023. It is both St. Patrick's Day and Flex Friday. So happy St. Patrick's Day and happy Flex Friday to you all. As always, I hope this video finds you all doing well and in good spirits. We have 8 games in the NBA to talk about today. The Prize Picks board is beginning to fill out, but not all players and teams and games are represented as of now. So we do have plenty to dig into, and I have quite a few player props to share with you. So in traditional video format, we will kick things off with a recap over yesterday's picks, both free YouTube plays and membership plays. We'll dig into some injury news, and then we'll jump right on into those player props. So without further delay, let's kick things off by going over our picks from yesterday. Yesterday's free YouTube plays, what can I say? It just wasn't a good day at all. We had 6 props that we talked about in this in our video yesterday. 1 of 5 on the day. Let's quickly go over these, not sugarcoating anything at all. Pascal Siakam blasted the first half, well over 17.5 PRA. Michael Porter Jr. shot poorly from the field. We mentioned that if his shot's falling, that his props should also fall, but man, if his shot is not falling, then he's going to struggle. There is no sweat with Michael Porter Jr. He either hits it or he doesn't even come close. Didn't come close to his 8.5 fantasy point prop. Didn't come close to his 11 PRA, so we went 0 for 2 on those 2 plays. And then we had Mikal Bridges over first half points, 12.5. Just didn't come through. Finished the first quarter with 10 points and then ended the first half with 10 points. So didn't shoot, didn't score anything in the second quarter. James Wiseman was our only bright spot. Went over 14.5 points and assists, but hooked us with just 14 points. We wanted the over on both his points and then points and assists. Now, I do want to talk briefly about the membership plays, because on a day like yesterday, you look for any sort of win, and oftentimes people will reach for a win. Well, yesterday in membership plays, there was no reaching involved. 5-0 in yesterday's membership plays. Let's go through these really quick. Killian Hayes under 13.5 points. Nick Claxton over both first half and full game PRA. Drew Holiday crushed it with 17.5 points. Got the over on that one. And then we had Drew Holiday also crush it with his 25.5 points and assist. 5-0 in membership plays. That worked out really well for us. And listen, I hate giving plays that don't hit. But, you know, the reality of this is no matter how much research, no matter how much time you put into coming up with your slips, there's always the possibility that they don't hit. It's just that simple. So we move past this day. We have a little bit of momentum to go on with those membership plays, and we look to redeem ourselves on St. Patrick's Day, and hopefully we have a little luck on our side. Let's quickly dive into some injury news, and then we'll jump into some player props. Injury report for today. We got probable Anthony Davis, Dame Lillard, Kevon Looney. Questionable Jason Tatum, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Jeremy Grant, Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Austin Rivers, Jalen McDaniels, Jake LaRavia, Keita Bates-Diop, Alex Caruso, Tim Hardaway Jr., JaVale McGee, Markieff Morris, doubtful, Javonte Green, and out Draymond Green, Devontae Graham, and Romeo Langford. All right, so as far as our plays today, let me count these up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plays, and we're gonna stick on this theme of doubling down, tripling down on specific players and their player props, because what I'm finding is if we like one prop for a player, typically there's at least one more prop that we like from that player, and we can kind of correlate them together to create some strong slips, some high ceiling slips, some high floor slips as well. So let's just dig on into this, and let's talk about our thumbnail over here, and it's going to be Mr. Anthony Davis. And let me talk to you a little bit about a couple of props that I like for him today. One's going to be points, 27.5, and the other one is going to be his points and assist at 29.5. I like the over, the more on both of these. Let's head on over to props.cash and find out a little bit more about why. All right, so pulling up Anthony Davis's game log, he's like the only player in this game right now that's being listed over on props.cash, and that's a good thing. So currently we got 27.5 points for Anthony Davis. Now, I know the odds don't look all that great, but the defense that he is facing today does look all that great. 25th in the league in field goal percentage allowed, 23rd in free throws allowed, and then overall 30th, dead last in the NBA versus the power forward position slash center position, whatever you want to call Anthony Davis. He's a big for sure. Now, 27.5 points is a hefty point total. However, he's done this already versus Dallas back on the 26th. Now, this game was played with LeBron James. Now, if you have any concerns over LeBron not being there and AD being the focal point and Dallas being able to double team him, my question is, with whom? Who do you double team him with? Because Dallas is not all that great up front. Looking at what he needs today, 27.5 points. He's hit this in 7 out of 10 games. And scrolling down and checking out the shot volume, the field goal attempts for Anthony Davis, averaging 17 over his last 10 and 17 over his last 5. Free throw attempts are aplenty, so it looks like almost a third of his points are coming via free throws, which is great. As long as he's making those, I have no problem with that. I mean, honestly, I don't believe there's a whole lot to dig into in terms of liking the over on his points. I just like I like the position here. I like him at home. Now, the second prop that I like is points and assists. Now, why do I like this so much? Well, because, number one, Anthony Davis is propped over here at 2.5 assists with a very, very high over, which is why that's not listed on Prizepicks. 2.5. It's giving you roughly 3 assists per game. But when I look at the points and assists, I think there's a real high probability of Anthony Davis actually scoring 30 points tonight. And if he scores 30 points, he hits his point prop and he hits his points and assist prop. I feel pretty confident in the 30-point prediction because going back through his game log, now, if we adjust these down here to show 29.5, he's hit 30 or more points in 5 out of his last 10 games. And if we scroll back through the 30 game log, you can see that it remains pretty consistent. 50% of those games he's gone over 30, he's gone 30 or more points. So that to me is consistency. I just like the upside here for Anthony Davis. So go ahead and put me down for the over, the more on both of these props for AD versus the Mavericks tonight. Next player I want to talk about, couple of props for Kelly Oubre Jr. Let's talk about his points right quick, and we're gonna go with the same exact props that we rolled with for Anthony Davis. Points and assists. Liking the over on both of these. Same logic applies here. Let's head on over to props.cash and dig into this a little bit more. Pulling up Kelly Oubre's 10-game log, we can see that he has hit this prop in 6 out of his last 10 games. Now, his point prop is set to 21.5, even money on this line. Positive history versus Philadelphia. All right, so this season he's 1-1 on the season in terms of hitting this point prop. But going back to last season, he's gone over this point total in 3 out of 5 games. And in those 3 games he's gone over, he's averaging 28.6 points. Now, in those 5 games total, inclusive of those duds, he's still over 21.5 points. So 22.2 points in all 5 games. That's his average there. Both of these games versus Philadelphia this season have been played without LaMelo Ball. Oubre goes for 29 in one game. He shoots 11 for 23. And then in the other game, he goes for 14 points. He shoots 16 of 15 from the field. Now, this game is kind of a one-off because you can see down here, Oubre is attempting roughly 17 shots over his last 5, 16 over his last 10. And then checking out his assist prop. So his assist prop alone is set to 1.5. I'm not really interested in that, but I am interested in his points and assists because it is a very, very close line to it's pretty close to his point line. And so I think that Oubre can actually score 23, 24 points tonight. And so I look for him to cover both of these props in points alone. In the event he actually does grab an assist or dish out an assist, it'll more than likely just be one. If he gives you 22 points and 1 assist, bang, he hits both of these props. So go ahead and put me on the over, the more for both of these props for Mr. Kelly Oubre Jr. Last player I want to talk about today, we're going to roll with Zach LaVine. Let's talk a little bit about his points, and then let's talk a little bit about his three-pointers made versus Minnesota tonight. I like the over. I like the more on both of these. Let's go to props.cash and dig into his game logs and find out why. So over on props.cash, they have this line set to 27.5. Let's leave it here for a second, because if this point prop were 27.5, we should have a little bit of confidence in this, because 50% of the time he's hit this over his last 10 games. Now, if we drop this down to the 26.5 that it is set for on Prizepicks, looks a lot better. 70% hit rate. Going up and checking out what he's done against Minnesota. One game versus Minnesota this season, he put up 22 points. A couple of things stand out to me. Number one, Zach LaVine has been kind of tearing it up as of late. I mean, not just 7 out of 10 games, but I mean, look at the point totals. He's clearing this by 10 plus points in some of these games. Shot volume is there for Zach LaVine. It's gone up. I mean, he's averaging over 21 shot attempts, 22 shot attempts in 5 straight games, or 5 out of his last 10. In terms of his minutes are very steady. So free throws look fantastic. Doesn't get into foul trouble. We like all these things versus a Minnesota defense that gives up a fair amount of point production, but is hemorrhaging points by way of 3-point shots. And that's the reason I like the second prop over here for Zach LaVine. Great odds on this one. He's averaging 3 a game over his last 5 and 10 games. And then against Minnesota specifically, he shot up, or he made 3 3-pointers in that lone game back in December. The reason I like these two together is if we like the over on his points, then we know that Zach LaVine is going to shoot his fair amount of 3-point shots. It's possible for him to hit this prop on his way to hitting his 26.5 points on the game. So these two correlate very well for me versus a very soft defense. Go ahead and give me the over on both of these props for Zach LaVine. So in a quick recap, we like 2 props for Zach LaVine, over on points, over on 3-pointers made. We like 2 props for Kelly Oubre Jr. We like the over on his points, and then we like the over on his points and assists. And for our final 2 props, we like the over on Anthony Davis's points, 27.5, and the over on Anthony Davis's points and assists at 29.5. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's video. Truly appreciate the time you've taken out of your day to check this video out, talking some Prizepicks player props with me today. Do me a favor, drop a comment below letting me know who you're rolling with today in your slips. Also, let me know what you think about these props that we talked about in this video. Do you like them, love them, hate them? Or do you want to leave them alone? And as always, thank you so much for all the support, the continued likes, subs, and comments. It truly means a ton, and just helping this channel get a bit bigger every single day. It is St. Patrick's Day, so whatever you do today, have fun, but be safe out there. And until tomorrow's Prizepicks video, Chavez is